So you have to go up under the hood. It'll be this plug right here. They call it the dyno plug. And this right here will disable your traction control and stability control. But also something I've also learned is that when you get up in higher speeds with this vehicle, when you're drifting, once the ECU starts seeing higher wheel speed, it'll kind of shut down the ECU. Well, I won't say shut down the ECU. It'll shut down the car's power, especially if you left foot brake. So to combat that issue, you can unplug the dyno plug, and I also recommend unplugging this fuse right here, which is fuse 62. This will allow you to, this will disable ABS and allow you to left foot brake, and it'll allow you to maintain your wheel speed at higher speeds, especially using third gear or fourth gear or anything like that. Another thing about this car is the power band. Now the power band kind of reminds me of a turbo car, like a fast spooling turbo car in a way. Say a little bit before 3,000 RPM or lower than 3,000 RPM, the car can't really pick up or have that, you know, that grunt of torque to kind of keep it going. So if you find yourself below 3,000 RPM and drift, you will need the clutch kick unless you have a tune and mods and stuff like that, or even a supercharger. But in stock form, this car likes to be at high RPM because this is a high RPM kind of motor. That's what the power band is. Its peak power is at 6,800 or 6,500, which is right at the top of this power band. So you need to keep the RPMs high with this vehicle if you want to keep it spinning and going through the course. The next thing I want to talk about is probably the tires. Right here on my car, as of right now, I have a 245/40/19. This is my stock rim. And the reason why I back down to a 245 instead of a 255, which is what my car came with, is because I'm running the Make It Modular steering rack spacers, and I'm also running an 1.5 inch spacer. Now, I'm not sponsored by Matt Sopa, Make It Modular or anything like that, but I seriously swear by that mod, because this car doesn't have a lot of angle to start out with, and being that it's so heavy and so snappy and has a lot of power, it's almost a pain to drive it in stock with stock angle. But these rack spacers make it a game changer in the beginning to be able to drive this car and handle it properly, especially going on faster courses or even really tight courses. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. I recommend that it is a must. But now with those rack spacers, you will have to take your fender liner out because it's going to tear all that up. And you will need at least 1 inch to 1.5 inch spacer, which I have an 1.5 inch spacer and it doesn't really rub or anything like that. And I can actually get full lock. Now as well for the rear, my car is stock power. So for the rear, I would recommend anywhere from a 245/40 to a 255 to 265/40. And the reason why I like to do the 40 series sidewall tires, because I realized after drifting a couple of events that even on the front and on the rear, my car would start to roll over onto the sidewall, which means, you know, if you have a good sidewall, that can give you a good side bite, good side grip when you're going sideways to kind of catch the car at an angle or even help with slowing down. And being that I noticed that this car likes to roll over into the sidewalls a lot, it's best for me to have a tire or tires to have a good sidewall on the side so that it can be able to catch the car. I have driven on a 35 series sidewall on the rear and it didn't really handle that well. I could actually feel how the tire is kind of rolling over up under itself, up under the rim in a way, and it feels very weird. So always keep a 40 series sidewall on this vehicle.